Pamuk opened her eyes slowly as sunlight streamed through the large window of New Istanbul space station. The white Turkish van cat stretched her paws and yawned, showing her small pink tongue. Her fluffy tail swished back and forth as she looked around Dr. Jeho Kim's laboratory apartment. The space was messy, as usual. Papers were scattered across the desk, and half-empty coffee cups sat next to complicated machines that blinked with colorful lights. Dr. Kim had fallen asleep at his desk again, his glasses slightly crooked on his face. Pamuk liked the kind scientist who had adopted her from the station's cat shelter 6 months ago. He always made sure she had the best food and the softest beds, even if he sometimes forgot to feed himself. Something felt different this morning. Pamuk's head tingled slightly, and the world seemed sharper somehow. She could read the words on Dr. Kim's papers. Wait, she could read. That was new. The cat blinked a few times, trying to make sense of this strange development. Warning: Quantum Neural Enhancer activated at 3:27. Test subject unknown, a gentle computer voice announced. Dr. Kim jumped awake, knocking over an empty coffee cup. What? I didn't schedule any tests for today. He looked around frantically, his short black hair sticking up in all directions. The subject appears to be feline, Turkish van, approximately 2 years old, the computer continued. Dr. Kim's eyes widened as he looked at Pamuk. Oh no. Pamuk, did you sleep near the enhancer again? Yes, I did, Pamuk tried to meow. But to her surprise, human words came out instead. It was warm and comfortable. Dr. Kim fell off his chair. Pamuk rushed to check if he was okay, worried about her human friend. He sat up, staring at her with his mouth open. This is impossible, he whispered. The neural enhancer wasn't supposed to work on non-human brains. We've been trying for months to make it safe for human testing, but the quantum fields were too strong. Maybe cat brains are different, Pamuk suggested, finding it easier to speak with each word. She jumped onto the desk and looked at the research papers. Your calculations here assume human neural patterns, but feline brains are more flexible during sleep cycles. Dr. Kim grabbed his tablet and started taking notes frantically. This is amazing. Pamuk, how do you feel? Any headaches? Dizziness? I feel fine, she answered, washing her paw. Just a bit hungry. You forgot to fill my bowl last night. Oh, I'm so sorry. Dr. Kim jumped up and rushed to the kitchen area. As he prepared her breakfast, Pamuk noticed something else strange. The quantum enhancer was picking up signals, patterns in the background radiation of space that seemed almost like words. But they weren't human words. They were something else entirely. The door chimed, and Song-yi, Dr. Kim's research assistant, walked in. She was carrying a stack of data tablets and wore her usual neat lab coat. Her long black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. Dr. Kim, I have the latest test results from. She stopped mid-sentence when she saw Pamuk sitting on the desk, reading through research papers. Why is your cat reading quantum physics? Good morning, Song-yi, Pamuk said politely. Don't worry, I'm just checking Dr. Kim's calculations. Did you know there's an error in the quantum field alignment formula on page 47? Song-yi dropped all her tablets. They clattered to the floor as she stared at the talking cat. This isn't possible. That's what I said too, Dr. Kim replied, returning with Pamuk's breakfast. But apparently, our quantum neural enhancer works perfectly on cats. Who would have thought? Pamuk ate her breakfast while the two humans frantically discussed what this meant for their research. She could understand their excitement, but right now she was more interested in those strange signals she kept noticing. They seemed to get stronger whenever she felt sleepy, which was often. She was a cat, after all. As she finished her meal, Pamuk wondered what other surprises this day would bring. One thing was certain. Her usual schedule of napping in sunbeams would have to wait. There were mysteries to solve, and she had a feeling her new abilities would be very important very soon. She just hoped Dr. Kim had remembered to stock up on her favorite treats, Being a scientifically enhanced cat was hungry work. Song Yai paced back and forth in the laboratory, while Dr. Kim examined the data from the quantum neural enhancer. Pamuk sat on her favorite cushion, watching them with bright blue eyes. The morning sun continued to stream through the station's large windows, creating patterns on the floor that would normally have tempted her to play. But today was different. "The government will not be happy about this," Song Ye said, stopping to look at her tablet. "They specifically ordered all neural enhancement experiments to be conducted under strict supervision. If they find out we accidentally enhanced a cat." "But this is a breakthrough," Dr. Kim replied, pushing his glasses up his nose. "Look at these readings. Pamuk's brain has adapted perfectly to the quantum fields. No stress patterns, no neural degradation. It's remarkable." Pamuk's ears perked up as she heard footsteps in the corridor outside. "Someone is coming," she announced. "Two people. One of them smells nervous." The laboratory door slid open, revealing He Newell, another researcher from the quantum physics department. Behind him stood a woman Pamuk had never seen before. She wore a formal business suit and carried a small silver briefcase. "Dr. Kim," He Newell said, his voice shaking slightly. "This is Ms. Park from the Science Ministry. She's here for a surprise inspection." Dr. Kim and Song Yai exchanged worried looks. Pamuk could smell their fear and anxiety. She decided to do what cats do best: pretend to be ordinary and sleepy. Ms. Park stepped into the laboratory, her high heels clicking on the floor. "Dr. Kim, we have received reports of unauthorized quantum field activities from this section of the station. I trust you can explain." "Of course," Dr. Kim said, trying to sound calm. "We were just running some standard calibration tests. Nothing unusual." Pamuk yawned and stretched, acting like a normal cat. But as she did so, she noticed something strange on Miss Park's tablet. The quantum signals she had been sensing all morning seemed to react to the device. Numbers and symbols flashed across its screen for a fraction of a second. What was that? Ms. Park frowned at her tablet. "There's some kind of interference." The quantum neural enhancer hummed softly, its lights blinking in an unusual pattern. Pamuk felt a tingling sensation in her whiskers. The strange signals were getting stronger, forming patterns that almost made sense. "Your equipment seems to be malfunctioning, Dr. Kim," Ms. Park said. "I'll need to see all your research data from the past month." While the humans were distracted, Pamuk quietly walked to Dr. Kim's computer. With her new abilities, she could understand what the screen showed. The quantum signals weren't random interference. They were a message. Someone, or something, was trying to communicate through the quantum fields. Song Yi noticed Pamuk looking at the computer and quickly stepped in front of the screen. "Would anyone like some coffee?" she asked, trying to draw attention away from the cat. "No, thank you," Ms. Park replied. "I would like to know why your quantum field readings show patterns that match no known terrestrial source." Hanil shifted uncomfortably by the door. Pamuk noticed he kept checking his phone, sending messages to someone. She didn't like this. Something wasn't right. Dr. Kim began explaining quantum field variations to Ms. Park, using complex scientific terms that even Pamuk's enhanced brain found difficult to follow. But she had more important things to focus on. The message in the quantum signals was becoming clearer. "Dr. Kim," Pamuk whispered very quietly when she passed near him. "The signals, they're not random. Someone is watching us." Dr. Kim coughed to cover his surprise. Meanwhile, Ms. Park had taken out more devices from her silver briefcase. They looked like sensors of some kind. "I will need to conduct a full scan of this laboratory," she announced. "Please step outside, all of you." Pamuk knew they couldn't let this happen. The quantum neural enhancer held too many secrets now, not just about her transformation, but about whatever was trying to communicate through it. She needed to do something, but what could one cat do against government officials? Then she remembered, she wasn't just any cat anymore. She was possibly the first cat in history who could understand quantum physics. And right now, That might be exactly what they needed. As Ms. Park prepared her scanning equipment, Pamuk quietly slipped behind the quantum neural enhancer. The machine's soft humming grew stronger, and the strange signals became clearer in her enhanced mind. She closed her eyes and focused, trying to understand the patterns hidden in the quantum field. Dr. Kim watched nervously as Ms. Park set up her devices. Somyai stood near the door, keeping an eye on Hanul, who continued to send messages on his phone. The tension in the room felt thick enough to cut with a claw. Suddenly, Pamuk understood. The quantum signals weren't just random patterns, they were a language. Her feline brain could process it in a way that human minds couldn't. The message repeated over and over in the quantum field. We have been watching. We come in peace. The small ones understand. The small ones. Pamuk wondered. Then she realized. They meant cats. All those times throughout history when cats had stared at nothing, or seemed to track invisible movements, they had been sensing these quantum signals. Her enhancement had simply made her able to understand them fully. Ms. Park turned on her first scanning device. It made a high-pitched noise that hurt Pamuk's sensitive ears. But something else happened too. The quantum signals became scrambled. Please stop, Pamuk said clearly, stepping out from behind the enhancer. Everyone in the room froze. Your device is interrupting an important message. Ms. Park's scanner clattered to the floor. The cat? The cat is talking. Yes, I am, Pamuk replied politely. And I need to tell you something very important. We are not alone in the universe, and cats have known this for thousands of years. Hanul tried to run from the room, but Sonia quickly blocked the door. I think you should stay and hear this, she said firmly. Dr. Kim sat down heavily in his chair. Pamuk, what do you mean? Pamuk jumped onto his desk, her white fur glowing in the morning light. The quantum signals you detected aren't random. They're messages from another civilization. They'd been watching Earth through us, through cats. We can naturally sense quantum fields in a way humans can't. That's why the neural enhancer worked on me when it was too strong for human minds. Ms. Park picked up her scanner with shaking hands. This is impossible. No more impossible than a talking cat, Pamuk said. Look at your readings again, but this time, adjust the quantum frequency to match a cat's natural brainwaves. Dr. Kim quickly made the adjustments on his computer. The laboratory screens filled with new data, patterns that clearly couldn't be natural quantum noise. Ms. Park's eyes widened as she looked at the readings. They'd been waiting for humans to develop the right technology, Pamuk continued. The neural enhancer wasn't a mistake. It was the final step they needed. Now they can communicate clearly through me. Why cats? Sonia asked, still blocking the door. Because our brains are different from yours, Pamuk explained. We can process quantum information without the mental barriers humans have. We're natural quantum receivers. Haven't you ever wondered why cats always seem to know things we shouldn't? Hanul had stopped trying to leave and was staring at his phone in shock. The government's quantum detection satellites. They're picking up signals all over the world. Every major city, every place where there are cats. Ms. Park sat down and looked at Pamuk with new respect. We need to contact our superiors immediately. This changes everything. Yes, Pamuk agreed, settling comfortably on Dr. Kim's desk. But first, I need a nap. Translating alien messages is tiring work, and they have much more to tell us. Also, Dr. Kim, I believe I deserve extra treats for saving your research project. Dr. Kim laughed, the tension finally breaking. Extra treats, a new bed, anything you want. Good, Pamuk said, curling up in a sunny spot. Wake me in an hour. The aliens want to schedule a proper meeting, and apparently, I'm now Earth's first feline ambassador. The afternoon light streamed through the large windows of New Istanbul space station as Pamuk made her way through the maintenance tunnels. Ms. Park and Dr. Kim were busy discussing the implications of alien contact with Earth's governments, giving Pamuk time to explore. She needed to understand more about how other cats on the station might be experiencing these quantum signals. The maintenance tunnels were a familiar path for her. They were warm, quiet, and filled with perfect napping spots. Today, however, she was on a mission. Her enhanced senses detected the quantum signals more clearly here, away from the laboratory's electronic interference. As she turned a corner, she encountered Bay, the oldest cat on the station. The large gray tomcat sat regally in a shaft of sunlight, his amber eyes watching her with ancient wisdom. Bay had lived on the station since it first opened, and all the other cats respected him. "I'd wondered when you would come find me," Bay said, surprising Pamuk. He spoke in normal cat language, but she could understand him perfectly now. "You can sense them too, can't you?" Pamuk asked, sitting down beside the old cat. "The signals, the messages." Bay nodded slowly. "All cats can, little one. We always have. But you're the first who can understand them clearly enough to translate for the humans." In the distance, they heard the station's regular afternoon announcements echo through the tunnels. Bay stood and gestured for Pamuk to follow him. They walked through a series of smaller passages until they reached a hidden space behind one of the station's environmental control units. To Pamuk's surprise, several other station cats were gathered there. She recognized most of them. Yildiz from the hydroponics section, Taza from the medical bay, and Bulut from the station commander's office. They all turned to look at her with knowing eyes. "We've been waiting," Yildiz said softly. "The signals have been getting stronger lately. Even the humans' instruments can detect them now." Pamuk explained what had happened with Dr. Kim's quantum neural enhancer. The other cats listened intently, their tails twitching with interest. The warm air from the environmental unit made the space cozy, and Pamuk had to fight the urge to curl up for a nap. "The aliens chose cats for a reason," Bay explained, settling into a comfortable spot. "Our brains are special. We can walk between the quantum worlds while we sleep. That's why we sleep so much. We're not just resting, we're listening. Every time we stare at something humans can't see," Taza added, "we're actually watching quantum fluctuations. The aliens have been using these signals to study Earth peacefully for centuries." Bulut, who spent his days napping in the station commander's office, spoke up. "The humans are planning something. I heard them talking about bringing in more government officials. They're worried about security." Pamuk knew she had to act fast. The aliens' messages were becoming more urgent, and she needed to help the humans understand that this wasn't a threat. But how could she convince them? "We need to show them," Bay said, seeming to read her thoughts. "All of us together. The aliens didn't choose individual cats. They chose all of us. We're all connected through the quantum field." As if on cue, all the cats began to purr in unison. Pamuk felt the quantum signals amplify, becoming clearer and stronger. The aliens were trying to establish a more direct connection, using the combined quantum sensitivity of all the station's cats. "Dr. Kim needs to see this," Pamuk said, standing up. "If we can demonstrate how cats naturally interact with quantum fields, it might help the humans accept this more easily." Bay nodded approvingly. "Go, little one. We'll maintain the quantum connection here. Just remember, sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to take a nice, long nap. Cats have always known that dreams are doorways to understanding." Pamuk hurried back through the tunnels, her mind racing with possibilities. The afternoon sun cast long shadows through the station's windows, reminding her that time was running out. Soon, more government officials would arrive, and everything would become more complicated. She needed to act now, while there was still a chance for peaceful first contact. The afternoon sun had begun its slow descent when Pamuk returned to Dr. Kim's laboratory. She found the room empty, which was unusual. The quantum neural enhancer hummed quietly in the corner, its lights blinking steadily. Something felt wrong. Pamuk's enhanced senses detected recent conversations in the room. She could smell the lingering scent of unfamiliar humans. More government officials had visited while she was away. On Dr. Kim's computer screen, she saw several urgent messages marked classified. Using her new abilities, Pamuk accessed the computer's security footage. The scenes that played out before her confirmed her worst fears. Newell had contacted his superiors at the Science Ministry, revealing everything about the Quantum Enhancement Project and the alien signals. The door slid open, and Song Yi rushed in. Her usual neat appearance was disheveled, and she carried several data tablets under her arm. "Pamuk, thank goodness you're here. We have a serious problem." "I know," Pamuk replied, jumping down from the desk. Newell told the authorities everything. "Where's Dr. Kim?" "They took him to a meeting with the station commander," Song Yi explained, quickly gathering research materials. "They're sending a special security team. They want to shut down the project," and she hesitated. "And what?" Pamuk asked, though she suspected the answer. "They want to take you to a government research facility," Song Yi said quietly. "They think you're too valuable to leave in a civilian laboratory." Pamuk's tail bristled at this news. She needed to act quickly. The other cats in the maintenance tunnels were maintaining the quantum connection, but without the enhancer to amplify the signals, they might lose their chance for peaceful first contact. "Song Yi, I need your help," Pamuk said. "The aliens aren't just trying to communicate, they're offering to help humanity. But they'll only do it through cats. We've been their observers on Earth for thousands of years." Song Yi knelt down beside Pamuk. "What can I do?" "First, we need to warn Dr. Kim. Then we need to protect the quantum neural enhancer. Without it, we'll lose our chance to establish proper communication." A message flashed across the computer screen. "Security Team, ETA, 30 minutes. The station's announcement system crackled to life. "Attention all personnel. Level 3 security protocols are now in effect. Please remain in your designated areas." Song Yi began downloading crucial research data. "The security team will lock down all main corridors. How can we reach Dr. Kim?" Pamuk's whiskers twitched as she formulated a plan. "The maintenance tunnels. I know every path through this station. The other cats will help us. They understand what's at stake." In the distance, they heard the heavy boots of security personnel approaching. Song Yi quickly packed the most important equipment into a small bag. Pamuk led her to a hidden access panel near the floor, one of many secret entrances the station's cats used. "This way," Pamuk said. "Bay and the others will guide us. The quantum field is stronger in the tunnels. Something about the station's power conduits amplifies it." As they crawled through the narrow passage, Pamuk received a clear quantum signal. The aliens were warning them. More ships were approaching Earth. Time was running out for peaceful first contact. "Song Yi," Pamuk said as they moved through the dimly lit tunnel, "there's something else you should know. The aliens didn't choose cats randomly. When humans first built cities thousands of years ago, cats made a choice to live alongside them. We've been preparing for this moment ever since." They heard voices echoing through the station's corridors above them. The security teams were spreading out, searching for them. But they would never think to check the cat's secret pathways. "The storm is coming," Pamuk said quietly. "But sometimes the smallest creatures can change the course of history. After all, cats have been doing it since the days of ancient Egypt." The maintenance tunnels of New Istanbul space station hummed with energy as Pamuk and Song Yi made their way toward the station's command center. Despite the crisis, Pamuk felt the familiar afternoon drowsiness settling in. Her natural cat instincts told her it was time for her usual nap, but the situation demanded her full attention. "We're getting close to the command center," Pamuk whispered to Song Yi, who crawled carefully through the narrow passage. "I can sense Dr. Kim's presence nearby." The quantum signals grew stronger, making Pamuk's whiskers tingle. She realized that her increasing sleepiness wasn't just her natural rhythm. The aliens were trying to communicate more directly through her dream state. "Song Yi," Pamuk said, stopping in a wider section of the tunnel, "I need to take a nap." "Now?" Song Yi looked concerned. "The security teams are searching everywhere for us. Trust me, Pamuk explained, settling down in a warm spot near a power conduit. Cats don't just sleep because we're tired. When we sleep, our minds enter a state that connects directly with quantum fields. That's why the aliens chose us as their observers. I think they're trying to show me something important. Song Yi checked her tablet. The security teams were still searching the main corridors, but they hadn't discovered the maintenance tunnel network. How long do you need? Just 15 minutes, Pamuk said, already feeling her consciousness shifting. Watch over me and wake me if anyone comes. As Pamuk drifted into sleep, the quantum signals transformed into clear images. She found herself in a vast space, filled with shifting colors and patterns. Around her, she sensed the presence of other minds, the aliens who had been watching Earth through cats for millennia. They showed her visions of their world, a place where quantum physics was as natural as breathing. They explained why they had chosen cats as their observers. Feline brains could process quantum information without the barriers that human consciousness created. The aliens revealed their true purpose. They weren't just studying humanity. They were preparing to help Earth join a larger community of species across the galaxy. Cats had been their ambassadors, quietly guiding human development through their presence in homes, laboratories, and space stations. In the dream, Pamuk saw images of cats throughout history, in ancient Egyptian temples, medieval monasteries, on sailing ships, in scientific laboratories, and now on space stations. At each step, cats had influenced human progress, leading them toward this moment. The aliens showed her one final vision, a gathering storm of misunderstanding and fear that could destroy this chance for peaceful contact. Unless she could help humans understand the truth, they would react with fear instead of hope. Pamuk felt herself being gently shaken awake. Song Yi's worried face came into focus. "Security teams are getting closer," she whispered. "Did you learn anything?" "Everything," Pamuk replied, quickly standing and stretching. "The aliens showed me why they chose cats and what we need to do next. Where's the nearest quantum terminal?" Song Yi checked her tablet. "There's one in the maintenance hub, just ahead." "Why?" "Because," Pamuk said, leading the way through the tunnel, "we need to send a message to every cat on the station. The aliens aren't just watching anymore. They're ready to make official contact. But first, we need to show humans that they can trust us." They reached the maintenance hub, a small room filled with control panels and monitoring equipment. Through her enhanced abilities, Pamuk could access the quantum communication network that ran throughout the station. "What are you going to do?" Song Yi asked, keeping watch at the door. "I'm going to wake up every cat on this station," Pamuk replied, her paws dancing across the quantum interface. "Together, we'll create a quantum field so strong that even humans will be able to see it. Sometimes the best way to prevent a storm is to show people the sun behind the clouds." The evening lights of New Istanbul space station glowed softly as Pamuk's message spread through the quantum network. One by one, cats throughout the station responded. In the medical bay, Taza left her favorite sleeping spot. In the hydroponics section, Yildiz stepped away from her garden patrol. In the commander's office, Bulut awakened from his afternoon nap. Security teams moved through the station's corridors, their boots echoing against metal floors. But they were about to witness something unprecedented. At precisely 18 o'clock station time, every cat on the station began to purr in unison. The quantum field generated by their synchronized purring created visible waves of soft blue light that rippled through the station's air. The security teams stopped in their tracks, stunned by the display. Their instruments recorded massive quantum fluctuations that formed clear, deliberate patterns. In the station's command center, Dr. Kim watched in amazement as his quantum sensors displayed readings unlike anything he had seen before. The station commander, several government officials, and Ms. Park stood frozen, staring at the data screens. "The cats," Dr. Kim said softly. "They're all connected through the quantum field. They always have been." The door to the command center slid open. Song Yi entered first, followed by Pamuk, who walked with quiet dignity. Behind them came Bay, the old gray tomcat. More cats appeared from various access points, gathering in the command center. "I believe," Pamuk said clearly, addressing the startled humans, "it's time for proper introductions. The beings you call aliens would like to speak with you." Ms. Park stepped forward, her earlier skepticism replaced with wonder. "You're saying the cats are their ambassadors?" "We always have been," Pamuk replied. The blue quantum light grew stronger, forming shapes in the air. "Humans weren't ready for direct contact before. You needed to develop the right technology and the right understanding." The quantum neural enhancers readings appeared on the main screen. Now, with all the station's cats working together, the alien messages became clear enough for human devices to decode. Symbols and images formed in the quantum light, telling a story of peaceful cooperation between worlds. "For thousands of years," they added, his wise old voice carrying clearly, "we cats have lived alongside humans. We watched your progress, guided you subtly, and reported back to those who sent us. Now, at last, it's time for all species to meet as equals." Newell, who had been quietly standing in a corner, stepped forward. "I'm sorry," he said to Dr. Kim. "I thought I was protecting Earth by reporting this. I didn't understand." "Understanding is why we're here," Pamuk said kindly. The quantum light formed more complex patterns, showing images of distant worlds where different species lived and worked together. "The beings who chose us as their observers want to help humanity join a larger community among the stars." The station commander looked at the government officials, then at the assembled cats, and finally at the beautiful quantum light display that filled her command center. "What do we do next?" "First," Pamuk said, settling comfortably on a console, "you need to stop thinking of this as a security threat. The beings who chose cats as their representatives have been living peacefully among you for millennia. They've seen humanity at its best and worst, and they still want to help." Dr. Kim's quantum neural enhancer began receiving new signals, clearer than ever before. The aliens were ready for direct communication, using the combined quantum sensitivity of all the station's cats as a bridge between species. "Now," Pamuk continued, her blue eyes reflecting the quantum light, "shall we begin the real negotiations? The future of Earth-feline-alien relations awaits. Though first, I wouldn't mind if someone could bring some treats. Maintaining a quantum bridge between species is hungry work." 1 month after the historic first contact, New Istanbul space station had transformed into the center of Earth's interstellar relations. The observation deck, once a quiet place for watching Earth below, now served as the official meeting space for diplomatic negotiations. And at the center of it all was Pamuk, who had been formally appointed as Earth's first feline human alien ambassador. The morning sun streamed through the deck's large windows as Pamuk sat in her new diplomatic bed, a comfortable cushion placed on a quantum-enhanced platform. Dr. Kim had modified his neural enhancer into a more sophisticated communication device, allowing all cats to share their natural quantum abilities with their human colleagues. "Ambassador Pamuk," Sonia said, entering the deck with a tablet. "The Miav delegation will arrive in 1 hour. Would you like your breakfast first?" The name Miav had caused much amusement when the aliens first revealed it. It turned out that ancient cats had influenced the word for meow in many human languages, inspired by the alien's true name. "Yes, please," Pamuk replied, stretching elegantly. "The morning negotiations always go better when I'm well fed." The observation deck had been redesigned to accommodate both human and alien comfort. Soft quantum lights danced along the walls, creating an atmosphere that helped all species feel at ease. They, now serving as senior feline advisor, dozed in his favorite spot near the window. Dr. Kim entered, carrying new quantum readings. "The Mayev ships are approaching the quantum barrier. They should transition into normal space right on schedule." Pamuk watched as the first hints of the alien vessels appeared in the distance. They looked like shimmering bubbles of light, gracefully moving through the quantum field that cats had always been able to sense. The sight still filled her with wonder, even after a month of regular meetings. "Dr. Kim," Pamuk said. "Do you remember when you thought the neural enhancer had malfunctioned? When I first started talking." He smiled, adjusting his glasses. "That feels like a lifetime ago. Though I still think you deserve all those extra treats I promised." The station's cats had become essential members of the diplomatic team. Taza helped coordinate with the medical exchange program, where the Miav shared their advanced healing technologies. Yildiz worked with alien botanists in the hydroponics section, learning about plants that could grow in quantum-enriched environments. Even Hilnul's cat, who had been shy before, now helped translate complex scientific concepts between species. Ms. Park, who had become the human head of diplomatic relations, entered the observation deck. The Earth Council is ready to begin today's session. They're particularly interested in the Miav's proposals for cleaning Earth's oceans. The Miav are very concerned about Earth's marine life, Pamuk explained, grooming her whiskers. They've been watching whales and dolphins too. It turns out they have natural quantum sensing abilities as well. Not as sophisticated as cats, of course. A soft chime indicated the Miav ships had arrived. The quantum field in the observation deck rippled with greeting patterns, which all the cats immediately understood. The aliens had learned that human minds needed time to process quantum communications, but they appreciated how cats could respond instantly. "You know," Pamuk said to Dr. Kim as the ships docked, "I still take my regular naps. Even with all these diplomatic duties, a cat must maintain proper sleeping habits. Besides, the best quantum connections happen when we're dreaming." They opened one eye and purred in agreement. The old cat had always known this day would come. After all, cats had guided humanity for thousands of years, preparing them for this moment. As the Miav delegates entered the observation deck, their quantum forms shimmering with friendly greetings, Pamuk stood and stretched one final time. The morning sun caught her white fur, making her glow like a small star. She had come a long way from being just a sleepy station cat, but in her heart, she knew that some things would never change. "Welcome, friends," she said to the aliens. "Shall we begin today's discussions? Though perhaps after one quick nap. Diplomacy, after all, is best served with a properly rested mind."